So far in this Python tutorial series, I have covered Python installation step by step and how to use pip. If you haven't watched those videos yet, I would recommend watching those before starting with this video. In this one, I'll be covering virtual environments. So let's get started with what is virtual environment. So virtual environment is a tool which is used for creating isolated Python environments. What it means is that it creates environment which contains its specific Python interpreter and libraries which are needed to support a project, which is completely isolated from any other virtual environment's Python interpreter and libraries. So for example, if you are working on multiple projects which require different versions of the same library, then you can use virtual environments to manage such kind of situation, wherein you can have a project 1 which has, let's say, Django 4 along with Python 3.10, and then you can have another project that you're working on with Django version 5 and latest Python version Python 3.12. To demonstrate this, I have already created two virtual environments. One is project 1 and the other one is project 2. So if I do, let's say, pip freeze on project 1, you can see that I am using Django 4 here along with Python version 3.10. And if I go to project 2, you can see that I'm using Django version 5 here along with Python 3.12. So that is how you can manage working on multiple projects with the use of virtual environments without causing any conflicts among the libraries. A virtual environment is created on top of an existing Python known as its base Python, and any of the libraries which are associated with the base Python are completely isolated from those that are explicitly downloaded in your virtual environment. So now let's take a look at how you can create and use virtual environments. So there are two ways you can do that. So first one is using the venv module, which is part of the Python installation itself. So for creating virtual environments using the venv module, you need to run this command python-m venv, and then name of your environment. So let me give it a name, project 3, and this will create the virtual environment for you. So when you run this command, there are three main things that happen. So firstly, it creates a folder with the name that you provided here. So you should have a folder here with the name project 3, and then if you go inside it, you will see that it has a config file pyvenv.config. So this is also created once the command for creation is run. So if I open this file, what it contains is, it contains a home key which points to the Python version that it needs to run, and it also have some other flags as well, like include system side packages and other things. So we'll take a look at this in some time. Secondly, it creates a bin folder. Inside the bin folder you will find the Python binaries, and it also creates the lib folder, and inside the lib folder you would find the side packages where it would store all the libraries that you download in this virtual environment. So how you can activate this environment is, you just need to go to the bin folder and run source bin and then activate, and it would be activated. And if you see something like this, that means that you are inside the virtual environment. For deactivating this environment, you just need to type deactivate and you'll come out of the environment. So another library for creating and managing virtual environments is virtualenv. It's a third-party library. You can use it for creating virtual environments like this, virtualenv, then name of your virtual environment that you want. So let me keep it project 4, and then you should be able to see a project folder. So again, what happens when you run this particular command for creating virtual environment is firstly it tries to discover the Python interpreter from which it needs to create the virtual environment. So by default, this is the same as the one virtual environment is running from. You can see which Python virtual environment is using by typing which virtualenv, and you can see here that it's using 3.12. And you can also change the Python version from which you want to create the virtual environment by using this flag. Let's say I create a project 5-p, and then if I want to create a virtual environment which uses Python 3.10 instead of 3.12, so I just need to provide it in this way and then press enter, and you can see that project 5 has been created. So once it has discovered the Python interpreter, the second step that it does is that it installs bootstrap seed packages like pip, setup tools, etc. So there are two seeding mechanisms that virtualenv currently uses. First one is pip. It uses the bundled pip for installing the seed packages, and the second one is very interesting method, which is app data method. So it uses the user application data directory for creating installed images. So these images need to be created only once. So the first time that you create the virtual environment, these images would be created, and any subsequent virtual environment creations would just copy those images into the side package folder. So this mechanism makes virtual environment creation much faster. So this is available only with the virtualenv library, and this is not present in the venv module that we saw earlier. Although since Python 3.3 subset of the virtualenv library was integrated with venv module, but the app data part is still not integrated with venv, and that is why venv is slower compared to virtual environment. So after the seed package installation is complete, it creates the bin folder similar to how it does for venv module, and it also creates the lib folder with the side packages. And how to activate it, it's the same. You just need to run source bin and then activate, and it would be activated. And deactivation is also the same, deactivate, and it would be deactivated. There are other options as well that you can provide with the virtual environment creation. So you can type virtualenv-h to see what all other options are available. So here you can see that it will give you all the flags that you can provide along with the instructions on what this flag does. So for example, there is this creator flag, you see. So if you change this to something else, by default it's built in, and if you change it to venv, then it would invoke the venv module for creation of your virtual environment. Then there is system side packages. So if you want to create a virtual environment that uses your system side packages instead of using the ones that are present in the virtual environment side packages, then you can use this particular flag. For example, if I create a virtual env and let's name it project 6, and now if I go to this project 6 and activate it, if I do pip freeze, then you would see so many packages are already installed in this virtual environment. So that is because we use this flag to set this as true, and it is now using the system side packages. And you can also see that there is the seeder method that I already talked about. So there are two seeding mechanisms, pip and app data. So by default it is app data. If you want, you can change it to pip. So same way you can take a look at other options as well, and do whatever you want when you want to create the virtual environment. So that is all I wanted to share about virtual environments. If you got to learn something from this video, please hit like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.